What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my third YouTube video out of 100. And in this video, I wanted to really talk to you guys about something that I think is extremely important. And that is my childhood. How I grew up, where I grew up, the surroundings I grew up with, and some of the decisions I made as a kid. And even, up until I was in my teenage years, and even my late teenage years. I've had a lot of people ask me about this, and I've done one other video in the past that was pretty similar to this, but I really wanted to address this in its own video. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so a lot of people always ask me, do they need to have a special childhood? Do they need to be smart? Do they need to have good grades? Do they need a college degree? Do they need their parents to be married still? And so on and so forth. And really the answer to all this is actually no. And I want to talk to you guys about a real story, something that really happened to me, and something that maybe a lot of you guys don't know, and maybe a lot of you guys won't even believe. Whether you do or you don't, it really doesn't matter to me, but this is my story, my testament to success. At 7 years old, I lived in my grandparents' garage. I moved in with my grandparents, and I started my first company by the time I was 8. At 8 years old, my grandpa taught me how to clean pools in the state of Arizona. As you can imagine, it's very hot here. I started my pool company at 8, and by the time I was probably about 11 years old, I was making very good money. I was making, at 11 years old, all cash, what the average American makes at 40 years old. And I was blowing it left and right. I had every toy that you could imagine, every RC car, every helicopter, every airplane, every BMX bike, every go-ped, every go-kart, everything that a kid could possibly imagine. It was extremely amazing. It was an amazing childhood, and I loved every second of it. At the time, I didn't know any better. I didn't have anybody in my life at the time that told me to save my money for, X, Y, and Z. I just spent my money and had a blast, and it was truly amazing. At about 15 years old, after buying high and selling low, because let me tell you, I became a master at that, and I could write a whole book on buying high and selling low, I really began to realize that the market was shifting. Okay, now keep in mind I was 15. Most people were way older than me. I had a pool company, and my pool company at 15 years old, basically I was forced to sell it. Okay, I sold my company and I didn't make a lot of money. I made maybe $5,000 or $6,000. At 15 years old, I'm sitting there and in the garage, still obviously at my grandparents' house, and I don't know what to do with my life. So what I did at that moment was truly a turning point forever. I got my first job, my first traditional corporate job at a dry cleaner's. It was, a family friend, and she gave me the job at the dry cleaners. I took the job, and I was working about 30 hours a week and absolutely hated it. There was no air conditioning in the building, and it was absolutely the most terrible thing I've ever experienced. From the time I was 15 till the time I was 19, I worked 19 jobs. I never got fired, and I never went to an interview 2 times. I got hired on the first time every single time, and I never got fired from one of my jobs. I quit every single one of them. Now, some of you guys that are watching this might ask me, well, Austin, why did you quit 19 jobs in a row from the time you were 15 to the time you were 19? And the answer really is, I hated being told what to do, when to do it, when to show up for work, how much money I was worth, when I could go to the bathroom, when I could eat lunch, and ultimately, I hated people telling me what to do in general. Therefore, I quit 19 jobs. Now, in the mix there, from the time I was 17 until the time I was about 19, I got involved in network marketing. My first company, a lot of you guys might know if you know me, I did very well and I met some amazing people. And this was about the time when I realized that there was more on the planet than what I thought there was. There was an abundance of money. There was an abundance of wealth. There was an abundance of everything. Now, I never really realized this until I was about this age. But I was hanging around with people that were driving Lamborghinis, they had Breitlings, they were on private jets, they had beach houses, they had regular houses, they had condos, and it really opened my mind to what was possible at 17 years old. Now, from the time I was 17 to the time I was 19, I had a lot of jobs, but I also did network marketing. I built large organizations in many different states and many different countries around the globe. I was driving a Mercedes-Benz by the time I was about 17 and a half. It was my 7th or my 8th car. And I really just knew that I was willing and capable to do whatever it took. About this time in my life, I got into drugs. I was doing all kinds of different drugs with all the wrong people. I had a 1.7 GPA in high school and I barely passed. I did drugs for about 2 years. No hard drugs, no meth, nothing crazy like that, but I was a pothead and, everything else. Now, this really began to affect my life because they say the 5 people that you surround yourself with you're the average of those 5 people. And I became the average of my 5 best friends, smoked weed and played video games. So that's exactly what I did. At about 19 and a half years old, I made a very intelligent decision. I said, I've seen what is possible. I know that there's an abundance in the world. I know that it's doable and I want it. And I said, I'm willing to sacrifice anything in my life to have it. I'm willing to give up friends, I'm willing to give up family, I'm willing to give up money, I'm willing to give up time. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to have the life that those friends had a year ago. And in that moment, I snapped my finger, I made a decision, and I went out into the world to create that life. At 19 and a half years old, I got involved in real estate. My current business partner is Cody Sperber, and at 19 and a half years old, I paid him thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to mentor me. Now at the time, Cody was just my mentor. His company called The Clever Investor mentored me, and they showed me exactly how to get into the investment game of real estate. I did this for about 2.5 years. I didn't close my first deal for about 7 months. And on my first deal, I didn't make a ton of money. I spent a lot of money in the process, and it wasn't something that happened overnight. At about 20 years old, 20 and a half years old maybe, my mentor said, Austin, have you ever thought about getting your real estate license? Now at the time, I'd never thought about getting my real estate license, but I said, you know what, I'll give it a try. From the day that I agreed to get my license until the day I was licensed was 11 days. On the 12th day, I was making offers on my initial deals. My first year as a real estate agent, I closed about a little over $5 million worth of real estate. My second year as a real estate agent, I closed a heck of a lot more than that. This will be my third year as a real estate agent. My goal is to close $50 to $100 million worth of traditional real estate. My goal is to close 236 wholesale deals this year, and my goal is to close many rehabs, creative deal structure deals, apartment complexes, so on and so forth. I now currently have 8 streams of income, and I don't say any of this to impress you, rather to impress upon you. And my reason for saying all this is because I missed a lot in my story. Such as, when I was 13 years old, I dislocated my knees from the time I was 13 to 15 years old 74 times. My kneecaps, aka my patellas. I had 2 knee surgeries at 13 and 14 years old, and my first pulmonary embolism, aka a heart attack, at 14 and a half years old. I was on blood thinners from the time I was 14 to the time I was 15. The reason that I say a lot of this is because I grew up in my grandparents' garage. I've been through a lot of pain. I've had a lot of girlfriends. I've broken up with a lot of girlfriends. I've been broken up with many times. I've had 19 jobs. I've owned 6 businesses. I currently am in real estate. I've had 12 cars. And again, I don't say any of this to impress you, rather to impress upon you that if I can do it, anybody can do it. I got a 1.7 GPA in high school, and I'm not the smartest tool in the shed. I simply made a decision. A decision that little did I know at the time would change the course of my life forever. And that's what I want you to take away from this video. If you're watching this video right now and you're a millennial, even if you're not a millennial and you're older, understand one thing and one thing only, and that is that it is just a decision. All you have to do is snap your finger and make a decision, and in that moment your life will change forever. It's the things that lead up to the snap of the finger and that decision that change your life forever. People think it takes a long time to make a decision. In reality, it happens in a split second. It's what led up to that split second that changed your life forever. And then in a split second, you made the decision. Your paradigm shifted forever, and ultimately your destiny did too. I say this again, and I want to say this for a third time, and that is to impress upon you and not to impress you. I am nothing special. I was a normal average kid with above average goals and dreams, and I'm still the exact same today. I've done very well for myself, and real estate's something that I think anybody can do, and I know anybody can do it. So if you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, or 30 watching this video, understand that wherever you're at right now is not necessarily where you're going to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. See, a lot of people, they overestimate what they can do in 6 months, and they underestimate what they can do in 2 or 3 or 4 years. So what I would do right now if I were you is I would start the process of making a decision that will change your paradigm and your destiny forever. And in a moment, the decision's made, and for the rest of your life, you'll live to talk about it, and it'll be amazing. With that, guys, my name's Austin Zaback. That's a part of my story. I'm 22 years old right now, currently. It is January 5th, I believe, 2018. And I'm no different than you if you're watching this. Whether you're younger than me, older than me, the same age as me, I want you to understand one thing: I'm no different. Again, I had above average goals and dreams. I took action on those goals and dreams. And I got to where I'm at today. If I can do it, you can do it. And I would love to see every single one of you guys watching this right now do the exact same. It's truly amazing. And nobody ever said it would be easy. They just promised it would be worth it. With that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name's Austin Zaback. If you're not already subscribed to me on YouTube, make sure you smash the subscribe button. Make sure you smash the notification bell so you know when the next time I'm posting is. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.